Okay, hello everyone. If you've been keeping track of AI lately, I mean, who hasn't, right? The term AI agent seems to be, well, everywhere. So today we're doing a deep dive into what a lot of people are calling the next phase of AI. That's AI agents and multi-agent systems. Our goal here is to, cut through the hype a bit and really understand what these things are, how they actually work, and why they might just change everything about how we use technology. We're pulling insights from some really interesting bits from AI agents, the future of autonomous systems. So just think about this for a second. What if you could replace like all your different apps with just one really smart helper? Is that where we're headed? Let's unpack that. So let's start simple. What actually is an AI agent? How is it different from, say, the smart assistants we already use? Well, the big leap is genuine autonomy. Think of them like really smart, independent workers. You give them a goal, a high-level goal, and they figure out the steps. They make decisions on their own, complete some pretty complex tasks, and all without needing you to hold their hand or give step-by-step instructions. It's kind of like having a super capable intern, one who already knows your preferences and just gets stuff done without constant micromanaging. And these agents, they're not just thinking, they're doing. They can search for information, they can analyze really complex data, make decisions based on that analysis, and, crucially, they can even talk to other agents to get things done. The source material we looked at had this great example, the vacation planning one. Imagine just telling an agent, plan me a vacation, budget's under 50,000 rupees. Now, this isn't just a Google search result page. The agent would autonomously figure out locations based on weather maybe, or your past trips. Then it goes and books the hotels, the flights, puts together a whole itinerary. And you didn't have to open 10 different websites. It just handles it.
That vacation example, it really nails the difference, I think. Your current AI assistant, it might find flight options if you ask very specifically, but it won't usually handle the whole multi-step booking and planning process on its own. This ability to take initiative, to navigate these complex back and forth processes autonomously, that's the core change. It does make you wonder, though, what's the secret sauce? What technically enables this shift from just following commands to true autonomous action? Is it just more powerful models or something fundamentally different in the architecture?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do we get from Siri fetching the weather to an agent booking your whole trip? A big part of the answer lies behind the scenes in something called multi-agent systems. So instead of trying to build one gigantic AI brain that knows everything, which is frankly really hard, we now have these specialist agents. Each one is trained for a specific type of task, and they collaborate, just like a really efficient team at work. The source laid it out nicely. You might have, say, a data fetcher agent. Its whole job is just getting the info. Then maybe an analyst agent crunches that data. Then a planner agent decides, okay, based on this, what's the next logical step? And finally, maybe a chat agent just talks to you, gives you the update or the result.
Exactly. And that collaboration piece, you really hit on it there. It's not trivial, it's fundamental. They need to communicate effectively, share information back and forth, coordinate what they're doing, just like human teams, right? And this modular approach, that's the key to making it work. It makes really complex problems much more manageable because you're breaking them down, distributing the load. If you step back and look at the bigger picture, this whole collaborative specialized model, well, that's what gives these systems scalability. It makes them robust. They can tackle things a single monolithic AI might just choke on.
Okay, so they work like a team. That makes sense. But how are developers actually building these teams? How do you get these agents to talk and work together effectively? This is where, for me at least, diving into the source got really fascinating. It's the nuts and bolts. There are these specific frameworks like toolkits that developers are using. Let's touch on a few big ones. First up, there's AutoGen. That was from Microsoft. Its big strength seems to be helping agents converse, plan, and act together. Really good for these sort of back and forth conversational workflows. Then you've got LangGraph. The way I understood it is like a flowchart for agents. It helps manage the agent's memory, like remember what happened earlier in a long task, its goals, and keeping track of the whole process. Super useful for interactive workflows that need to change based on what's happening. Next, CrewAI. The name kind of gives it away, right? It's all about building effective teamwork. Agents get roles, specific tasks, responsibilities, like a real crew working on a project. And lastly, AgentOps. This one seems really important for making sure things don't go off the rails. It adds tools for observability so you can actually see what the agents are doing, like looking under the hood. Plus, debugging tools, logging everything, and crucially, safety features. You need guardrails when these things operate autonomously.
Right. And it's important to see these frameworks not just as, technical plumbing. They represent a real evolution in how we're thinking about building AI. The insight isn't just, oh, cool tools exist. It's that we're moving beyond just building powerful individual models by to figuring out how to orchestrate teams of these models. And that's what unlocks the ability to tackle really complex adaptive problems in a way that's hopefully reliable and safe.
Okay, so we had the what and the how. Frameworks, collaboration, it makes sense. But where is this actually being used, like right now? Is it still mostly lab stuff, or is it making an impact? The source gets some pretty solid real-world examples. Take financial modeling. You could have agents analyzing stock trends, pulling in news, looking at market data, and even potentially making portfolio suggestions or executing trades automatically, though obviously with strict limits and human oversight, you'd hope. Or think about e-commerce. Imagine an agent just constantly monitoring inventory levels across warehouses, adjusting prices on the fly based on demand signals, and tailoring marketing messages for individual shoppers, all in real time. That could save retailers a ton of money and boost sales. And another big one, analytics workflows. This is the stuff data scientists often spend ages on. Data cleaning, running models, generating reports. Agents can automate huge chunks of that. You basically give it a business question and it can potentially find the data, run the analysis, and show you the insights. Automating the boring part, as the source put it.
That's a great way to frame it. Automating the boring parts. And what ties all these examples together, I think, is that these aren't just single repetitive tasks being automated. They are entire workflows. Workflows that require reasoning, coordination between steps, and adapting to new information. So the value shifts, right? It's not just about doing things faster. It's about achieving a level of operational autonomy, which in theory frees up human brain power for more strategic stuff. Or yeah, maybe finally tackling that Netflix queue. But that data science point, automating that initial drudgery, that's a huge deal for anyone who works with data.
Absolutely. It's definitely more than just saving a few clicks. So looking even further ahead, the source paints this really interesting picture. Kind of futuristic, but maybe not that far off. Right now, a lot of AI runs in big centralized data centers. But imagine a future with, and I'm quoting roughly here, tiny agents running everywhere on your phone, in the cloud, in your web browser, and they all collaborate like a swarm. Now, this decentralized idea, it could have some massive advantages. It could make AI faster because the processing happens closer to where the data is generated, potentially cheaper too by spreading out the computational load. And importantly, maybe more private because your personal data doesn't always have to be sent off to some central server. And the personal impact could be huge too. They talk about the rise of personal AI ecosystems. Like you'd have your own dedicated team of AI agents working just for you. This could enable, workflows that run 24/7 with hardly any human input and hyper-personalization reaching levels we haven't seen yet. Everything from your morning coffee preferences automatically handled to your shopping app anticipating needs before you even voice them. Makes you wonder, though, if agents handle all that, what does it do to our own ability to, manage things?
That's a really profound question. It points to this fundamental shift the source mentions, moving away from an application-centric world, where you think, I need to book a flight, so I open the airline app, to a goal-centric world, where you just say, I need to get to London next Tuesday, and your personal AI ecosystem figures out the how. What's really fascinating there is the potential for AI to become truly ambient. Not just a tool you pick up and use for a task, but this intelligent layer woven into the fabric of your life, constantly working in the background.
Which loops us right back to that big question we started with.
Yeah.
That provocative idea from the source. Are these AI agents going to replace all our apps? Is it the end of the App Store as we know it? Well, the consensus, for now at least, seems to be not yet. Few, but maybe very soon. Instead of juggling 5 different apps to plan that night out, maps, reservations, reviews, maybe ride sharing, you'll just tell your main AI assistant what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it will orchestrate everything behind the scenes using these kinds of agent systems we've been talking about.
Exactly. It's less about apps disappearing overnight and more about a change in how we interact with technology. It points toward conversational interfaces becoming much more central. Instead of clicking through menus, you just talk or type your goal. The bigger picture significance here is potentially a massive simplification of the user experience, making powerful technology feel much more natural and accessible to, well, everyone. Less about learning the tool, more about stating the intent.
That is a really powerful idea to wrap up on. So the key takeaway here, AI agents aren't just, another fleeting tech trend. They seem genuinely poised to reshape how we work, how we plan our lives, how we interact with the digital world.
And it leaves us with a final thought, maybe something for you, the listener, to mull over. If we move towards this goal-centric conversational interaction, does it mean that instead of needing to master 10 different software packages, the most crucial skill becomes simply learning how to talk effectively to AI? How to articulate your goals clearly, how to ask the right questions? What does that imply for education, for skills development, for how we all adapt?
That's a great point. Definitely something to think about. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into AI agents and multi-agent systems. We hope it gave you a clearer picture of what's happening and maybe spark some thoughts about how these autonomous systems might weave their way into your own life.